Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. My name is Karina, I'm project manager at the Udalenno community agency, and today we're going to talk about remote work and try to understand how to organize the remote work processes in the most efficient way. So let's get started. Remote working means that you're going to hire people from different regions, from different countries, and this was also entail the fact that most of your employees would work in different time zones, and it can be quite challenging to organize the working processes, taking into account the time zone differences to run the process smoothly. So basically there are some tips how to overcome this challenge with the time zone. So first of all, I would say that you should not be afraid of the fact that the overlap in the working hours is not going to be 100% full for your employees. Some of the people are going to work in a bit different hours, because as the pandemic has shown, currently not all the processes require all people to work at the same time, and we can efficiently move the company forward even if some of the people work in their own time zones, in the convenient times when they feel the most productive. And basically you can just organize and distribute the processes in such a way to make sure that your workers have the flexible opportunity to work and have also some time of overlap. For example, the working time can be segregated into, so to say, two sections. The first one is going to be the overlap time, for example, like 4 or 5 hours for each of the workers to overlap with the team, and the rest of the time will be flexible, so they will have the possibility to complete their projects on their own pace. It is also very important to set up the official time zone of the company so everyone understands who is talking about which time exactly, and this will help to run the processes effectively. If the employees have the same understanding of the time, for example, if someone is saying it's going to be ready at 3 a.m., everyone has to understand which time zone they're speaking about. If all the employees are going to tell the time in their own time zones and to set the deadlines in their own time zones, this will disrupt the process, because it would take a lot of time trying to understand who's speaking in which time zone when something is going to be ready, and it's going to be very difficult to monitor the processes of the company. But if the official time zone is going to be set up, so everyone would rely on this set up time zone, and then it will be easier for everyone to coordinate their work and to understand when something has to be completed. For example, in our company we have the Spanish time zone, the Madrid time zone, Central European time, and everyone understands when we're saying that something is going to be finished by 3, or when we're going to have a meeting at 4, everyone knows that we're speaking about the Central European time, and this helps to coordinate all the working processes pretty effectively. So as I've already mentioned, it is also important to set up a company meeting, a team meeting, which is gonna take place at the time which everyone feels comfortable about, convenient about. Time meetings have to be coordinated with the whole team to make sure that everyone would be able to connect to the meeting, and this will help to bring all the people from the company together. And if you set up the team meeting at the company's time zone, so then it's going to be much easier for everyone to get coordinated and to make sure that they're going to be present during the meetings. For example, in our company we have a meeting every Wednesday, and we're setting the time for the meeting at the Central European time zone, so we're usually saying that it's happening at 12 Central European time, so all of our team has a possibility to coordinate their time with the team meeting and to make sure that they're not going to skip it. One thing that can also help you to build your company overcoming this time zone challenge is to mention your time preferences in the job description. This can be pretty useful, because if you indicate already in the job description which hours of overlap, for example, is required and which hours are going to be flexible, so you will avoid all these inappropriate and irrelevant applications that you're going to receive from people who, for example, have a completely different time zone, or the time zone which doesn't correspond in any way to your company. And this will help you to build your team in more or less the same time zone, arranging people in that way so they would feel comfortable and convenient about the working hours of the company. One of the other things that you should definitely think about when you're organizing your remote team is taxes, because every company has to deal with them, and this can turn into a huge headache if you do not figure it out just from the beginning. So when you're organizing the remote work, we have to understand that there are two types of workers: the full-time workers and the contractor workers. And if the contractors take full responsibility for their own taxes, and the company usually doesn't have to do anything about this, but when you're hiring a full-time employee, you have to pay yourself the income and the payroll tax for this person. So basically, when people are working remotely, you have to pay the taxes of your employees based on their country of residence. For example, if your company is located in Germany, but your employee is from Poland, so it means that mostly you have to pay the taxes based on the Polish legislation. It's important to check because there can be some differences in the legislations of different countries, and you have to make sure how this is organized. But usually, you just pay the taxes of the country where the person resides in. So this can also be quite helpful because you would be able to also in some cases win from the tax systems, from the tax legislations of different countries. For example, if you find employees in countries where the taxes are much lower than there, for example, in the Western Europe, so you would be able to save some money on the taxes of the employees. And basically, when we are hiring as a company people from the Eastern European countries, that's what actually we are doing. We are saving the money of our clients on the taxes because the taxes in the Eastern Europe are much smaller than they are, for example, in the Western European countries. So just to give you a basic understanding of the differences of the taxes, I'll give an example that in Austria, the tax that you're paying for an employee is 52%, in Netherlands it's 50%, while for example in the CS countries, in the Eastern European countries, it's much less. For example, in Russia it's 30% tax, in Georgia it's 20% tax, in Kazakhstan it's 10% tax. So you can earn on this difference between the taxing rates in different countries. To make the process even simpler to you, you can give your employees a possibility to register as freelancers, as independent contractors, and then they will take all the responsibility for the taxes themselves. So basically in these situations, they pay the income taxes and any work-related taxes to their countries on their own, and you do not take any active participation in this process. So this will help you to get rid of this tax headache and to move on. While organizing a remote team, one of the things that you have to think is also about visa. Even though most of the remote employees work from the countries where they reside in, but sometimes you can have this need to organize some business trips, or for example, if you have some team meetings, you have to make sure that everyone from your team has an access to some country, and there are going to be no challenges for him to reach this or that country where you want to have a team meeting or where you have your processes going on. So basically, it's very important to fix and to check all these visa challenges, visa regulations in different countries, and to make sure that you're very attentive to each and every detail. Specifically in this time of the COVID, it would also be very important to check all the details to make sure that you are not going to violate regulations of any countries, and that all your employees would have an equal possibility to access the events that you're organizing in some of the countries around the world. In the end, I would say that even though organizing a remote team can be in some way challenging to you, but if you pay specific attention to the aspects of time zones, visa regulations, tax regulations, and figure it out how they're organized, mostly you would be able to enjoy the most productive remote team that you can ever imagine, and to increase the efficiency of your company. So for example, we have already hired 200 people, remote workers for remote teams, and all of them prosper and improve and develop and get better and better with every day. So we wish the same to you if you want to organize a remote team. Thank you very much for watching our video. Subscribe to our channel, and we will talk about treatment and about all the processes related to remote work. Thank you. See you. Bye bye.